Hey everyone, Decav13 here, and welcome back to some more Let's Play Fate Stay Night. Alright, some weird stuff happened yesterday. Well, we were able to successfully have Sakura stay over, so that's a weight off Shirou's mind. But the weird stuff happened at night. When we went to go fight Caster, Assassin was already dead, and devoured. Then, when we got inside, we found that Kuzuki was already killed. Caster was standing over him with her bloody knife. But I don't get the feeling that she killed him. Doesn't feel right. And then after we left, something devoured both of them. So, you know, weird things are going on in Fuyuki right now. But as far as we're aware, that is 2 servants defeated, which means there are only 4 left. Aside from Saber, we just have Archer, Berserker, Lancer, and Assassin. Alright, so let's load up day 6 of Heaven's Feel and see what we are doing today. I got no idea what that might be, but let's find out. Oh yeah, also weird dream last night too, with Tosaga drinking Mitsuzuri and Shirou's blood. That completely skipped my mind for some reason. Don't know why it did. But yeah, man, this root's fucking weird as hell. It's hot. How did this happen? I tucked myself in, closed my eyes, and said goodnight, but the next thing I knew, everything was red. It's hot. Mom woke me up before the noise did. It was so bright even though it was still nighttime. Dad picked me up, then ran down the burning hallway. It's hard to breathe. I heard Mom's voice behind me. She told Dad not to go on his own. He ruffled my hair and told me to wait outside. I nodded and did what he said. It hurts. Outside was the same as inside. Everyone was all red, and my eyes hurt. So I closed my eyes and ran, trying to find somewhere that wasn't so hot. When I turned back to look, my house was already gone. It must be punishment for not following directions. My eyes hurt. I cry while I walk. I know I have to go home and wait, but I don't know where home is anymore. I stop covering my face with my hand and look up. I come face to face with it all for the first time. The town is burning in the distance. The fire won't go out. It's too late to change it now. This has all happened 10 years ago. The flames burning far away are so distant, not physically, but in time. My skin hurts. My throat burns with every breath. My body creaks with each movement of life. When I try to run away, my ankles twist, caught on something heavy like shackles. Even as a child, I somehow intuit that the death of everyone around me is dragging my living self down with them. It's still hot. I claw at my throat, my nails scratching it red. Each breath I suck in inflicts stabbing pain on my burned esophagus. My eyeballs stop working and my brain begins to steam in my skull. It's hot. It's hot, so hot, 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 hot. I remember. This is hot. Awfully hot. But it's cold. Terribly cold. Past the boiling point and back to freezing temperature. My burning blood has already hardened and stopped. Everything I see is backwards. And it's hot. So it's cold. That's why it's so hot I'm losing my mind. However, what was the cause of it all? There was a black sun in the sky. Didn't feel especially strange to me that the sun was out at night, or that it was black. After all, everything was crazy. It felt normal next to everything that was going on. And yet I ran away. I was so scared. The fire around me wasn't scary. Compared to that black shadow, getting burned to death felt only human, only natural. So I ran. I knew that if it caught me, it would take me someplace even scarier. I look up at the sky in a daze. I know it'll rain eventually, and I slowly lower my upraised hand. Slowly I open my eyelids. Not quite fully awake, I stare at my bedroom in a daze. Still lying on my back, I feel relief. How many years has it been since I woke up from a dream feeling relieved? I murmur aloud, still feeling the heat on my cheeks. A long time ago, this nightmare used to haunt me and make me cry out at night. It happened 10 years ago. The memories were still fresh back then. Every time I went to sleep, I would find myself wandering in that inferno. I never imagined that I'd forget about it, especially while I was in the dream. When I fell asleep, it would all become real again. The sky that day, the burnt odor in the air, and the inescapable wall of fire. Even now, I think that hasn't changed. But it isn't as raw anymore. With time, wounds heal and memories dull. Over the last few years, all I really see when I dream about the fire is the color red. Why would it come back again in vivid detail, even down to the smell of ash in the air after all this time? And what was that? I don't know what that thing was, nor do I remember it. In fact, I didn't even see it. I want to throw up. Just thinking about it makes me dizzy. A circuit breaker flips in my body and tells me not to think about it any further. I'm drenched in sweat because of the nightmare. I don't want my sheets to soak it up and get all gross, plus my brain is in a fog. My arms feel sluggish. In fact, I can't put any strength into them, and I can't even get up. Damn it, even talking is a challenge. I slowly bring my hand to my face and realize it's pretty warm. That's a surprise. This is the first time I've ever caught a cold. I've lost count of the number of times I've been battered and bruised, but I've never gotten a common cold before. Yeah, that makes sense. I can't think straight, so it's a little wonder I'd have a dream or two. Whoa, 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 wait, what am I lying around for? I frantically sit up. Then I check under the covers. This is hardly the time to be worrying about feeling sluggish or tired. If anything happened, then I need to run to the bathroom in the morning and destroy the evidence. My first priority is purify myself and exercise my right to silence. To be frank, Shirou's stock in the Illya household is in free fall. My entire body is drenched in sweat, but there isn't really anything else off about it. There's no way I went to school while I was asleep, and I've never done anything that crazy with Tosaka. My subconscious went there all on its own. After all, I'm still in the clothes I was wearing when I went to bed, and Saber's been in the room next door the entire time. I sigh in palpable relief. At once, the tension drains from my body, and I dramatically fall back on the floor.
Shirou,
I hear Saber's voice behind the sliding door. See? Even that was enough to get her attention. Still, it had to be a dream. Yep, a dream. It was absolutely positively a dream. If it wasn't, then I don't know how I'll look at Tosaka in the eye ever again.
Shirou.
おはよう、セイバー。
どうしたのです、シロ。横になったまま挨拶をするなど、あなたらしくもない。
いや、ちょっと不測の事態が起きて。
Saber looks puzzled. Now, I'm thanking my lucky stars that was only a dream, but now I have to confront a different trial. I feel slow and I can't even stand up, so how am I supposed to make breakfast?
37度6分。シローが風邪ひくなんて珍しいわね。
She casually gives me my diagnosis, thermometer in one hand. I already figured that was the case, so it doesn't come as a surprise, but a cold would make me feel this heavy, huh?
それで痛いとこは他にある？喉が痛いとか頭痛いとか。
いや、別にそういうのはないよ。体が重くて熱っぽいだけなんだけど。おかしいかな。
痛いところがないんならその方がいいかな。あ、けどシローは我慢しちゃう子だから気づいてないだけかもしれないか。念のため他の薬も用意しとく。
Fujine takes some cold medicine and cough drops out of the first aid box. She's an old hand at patching up lacerations and the like, but it looks like she isn't used to treating illnesses like this.
サンキュー、無事ね。それとごめん。朝飯作れそうにない。
バカなこと言ってないの。シローと朝ごはんどっちが大切だと思ってんのよ。セーバーちゃんが呼んでくれたからよかったものの、いつも通りご飯作ってたら本当
And
に
knowing him,
雷
he
落とし
definitely
たん
would
だ
have
か
cooked
ら。
breakfast in this state. She growls in sincere anger. She's right, obviously.
それとご飯なら心配いらないからね。さくらちゃんがおかゆ作ってくれたから、お腹が減ったら食べなさい。
え？さくらがおかゆ？
She must be feeling better then.
さくら、体の方はいいのか？俺より辛そうだったじゃないか。
はい、ちゃんと熱は引きましたから心配はいりません。夜も怖くなかったし、ぐっすり眠れちゃいました。これも先輩が見てくれたおかげです。
Oh, that's good. I thought it would take longer, but I'm relieved that it took her only a night to recover.
そっか、忘れてた。昨日はさくらちゃんが風邪ひいてたんだっけ。
そうだけど、なんだよ。その顔、すごくよこしまな感じがするんでやめてくれ。
もしかしてシロー、さくらちゃんの風邪がうつるような真似しちゃったの？
はあ？さくらの風がうつるってどうしてさ？
あれ？わからない？さくらちゃんの熱は下がってるんでしょ？ならシローがなんかしたんじゃないの？昔から風邪は人にうつすと治るって言うし。
I look at Sakura, not understanding.
は？
Finally, I realize what Fujine is running her mouth off about.
バカかあんた。昨日は熱上がって薬出しただけだ。冗談でもそういうの気にしたしない。泊まってくれたさくらに失礼じゃんか。
I feel myself blushing furiously. I imagine my 37-degree fever just climbed to 38.
なんてね、わかってるわよそんなの。シローにはそんな解消ないもんね。
それはそれでムカつくけど、誤解が解けたんだ。それでいい。
よしよし、それじゃ欠席届は出しとくから、今日はゆっくり休んでること。セーバーちゃん、シローをよろしくね。この子ほっとくと何でもしちゃうから、布団に縛り付けておいて。元よりそのつもりです。シローが起き出さぬよう監視をし、食事を与えればいいのですね。うわ、なんか物騒な言い回しだけど間違ってないからいっか。セーバーちゃん、その通りにお願い。
Saber nods. Is it just me or do I get a vague feeling of danger?
じゃあセーバーちゃんの言うことちゃんと聞いて、私たちが帰ってくるまでおとなしくしてるのよ。夕ご飯は精のつくもの買ってきてあげるから、それまでに体を治しておくこと。
Fujine nods with a smile at the impossible mission she's giving me. Behind her, Sakura looks downcast. She looks like she wants to say something that's weighing on her mind.
行ってきまーす。お土産期待 配しててね。
Fujine waves goodbye and leaves for work. I see Fujine off, then go back to bed. All I did was go from my bedroom to a porch, but the effort made me so short of breath that I collapsed right back onto bed. My fever isn't that high, but evidently I'm physically exhausted. Fujine's right. I won't be able to do much until I recover my strength in bed. Then, Sakura comes to my room, even though it's already past 7:30.
さくら、どうした？もう7時半だぞ。そろそろ登校しないと間に合わないんじゃないか。
Sakura awkwardly avoids meeting my gaze. Just as I notice that she's making the same expression as earlier when she looked like she wanted to say something.
先輩、私ここに残っちゃいけませんか？
She looks up and asks me a question. She means staying home from school, right?
もしかしてさくらもまだ熱があるのか？
いえ、熱はもう引いてます。ただ、
She hesitates like it's hard to say. She does still look pale, and it isn't reasonable to expect her to fully recover overnight after how bad she looked yesterday.
そっか、さくらも風邪気味だったもんな。けど大丈夫か？欠席届とか出さないで。
はい。ズルしちゃおうかなって。
She means skipping class by pretending to be sick?
なんでさ、さくらは風邪ひいてるんだから別にずる休みってわけじゃないだろう。熱があるなら部屋で寝てないといけないんだから。
ですから、私の体はいいんです。
I understand even less now. What's Sakura trying to say?
そのですね、先輩が風邪をひいたのって私のせいだと思うんです。
なんだ、藤姉のたわごと真に受けてんのか？大丈夫、そんなことはないって。俺、最近は夜になると散歩しててさ、それで勝手に風邪ひいたんだよ。
それでもいいです。私は元気で、昨日のお礼というか先輩の看病がしたいのでズルしちゃいたいんです。
Apparently, Sakura feels responsible for my illness. If I'm being honest, I would feel better having her around. Saber needs to sleep, and it would be easier for me if Sakura could prepare the medicine.
先輩。
それじゃあ頼む、さくら。
そうですよね。先輩にはセイバーさんがいるし、私が残っても何も。先輩？
だから看病を頼むよ、さくら。
私ですよね。
Yeah, Sakura, you.
そうだよ。セイバーも時差ボケでさ、昼間は眠ってるんだ。情けないんだが、さくらが昼飯とか作ってくれると助かる。
はい。私精一杯頑張りますね、先輩。
Sakura's expression transforms into a sunny smile, her earlier nervousness gone. Yeah. A smile looks better on her face. Time passes. It's now 10 a.m. I feel much better since eating Sakura's porridge. The sluggishness I felt this morning is gone. It doesn't impede my movement, and I think I could go to school if I wanted. However, I wonder if this wasn't a cold after all, but maybe the result of serious malnutrition. Just as I make to get out of bed.
ダメです。先輩、熱が下がるまで絶対安静ですからね。
Sakura rushes over and pushes me down. And Sakura seems so enthusiastic she made me breakfast, and I still feel pretty slow, so I decide to stay lying down. After feeding me okayu, she leaves, saying she has something else to do. Saber's resting in the living room. She was kneeling in a corner of my room until just earlier, but it was making me nervous, so I asked her to move to the living room. She protested, naturally, but I convinced her to take up a different guard post just for today.
失礼します。お体の調子はどうですか、先輩？
おかげさまで良くなってるよ。体のだるさはまだあるけど、熱はもう下がってる。
よかった。それじゃあもうお薬はいりませんね。あとは美味しいものを食べてゆっくり休んでいれば安心です。
Sakura goes into the room next door and brings out a new futon.
さくら、何してんだ？
何って新しいお布団ですよ。先輩はずっと汗をかいてたんですから、そろそろ変えないといけないかなって。
She lays out the futon next to mine, patting it flat in a practiced motion. To my surprise, there isn't any dust at all.
はい、用意できました。どうぞ先輩、こちらに移ってください。あ、その前に着替えですね。私はお布団を干してきますから、新しい寝巻きに着替えておいてください。
After the futon, Sakura brings out a stack of clean sleepwear. Such flawless nursing. This goes beyond mere experience or thoughtfulness.
遺伝子だ。きっと遺伝子にそういうスキルが備わってるんだ。
先輩、何か言いました？
言った。不謹慎だけど、さくらが休んでくれてよかったって。正直、さくらのことを見直しちまった。
当然ですよ。もうじき1年半ですからね。先輩のお家のことはちゃんと分かっているんです。
Sakura proudly puffs out her chest. Her confidence and positivity feels infectious.
そっか。じゃ、布団は任せた。ここは行為に甘えて、病人らしく言うこと聞いてる。
はい、任せてください。布団を干し終わったらリンゴ剥いてきますから、期待して待っていてくださいね。
Sakura goes into the hallway carrying the futon I've been sleeping in.
うわ、一気に全部持っていったな、さくら。
Impressed by her high spirits, I change into the pajamas she brought me. Now then, I dry myself off with a towel, change into clean pajamas, and obediently get back into bed to wait for Sakura. How long is this all taking, I wonder? Sakura peels me an apple as promised, and I enjoy snacking on it, and...
もう無理は禁物ですよ、先輩。
She scolds me even though I feel better now, so I lie back down.
で、セイバーが手伝ってくれたのか？
はい、何もしていないのも疲れるからって。おかげで客間のお掃除もできて助かりました。
そっか。雑巾を絞るセイバーってのも見たかったな。こうダダーッと客間の廊下を雑巾がけしたのか？
はい、2人で一緒に頑張りました。セイバーさん、これはこれで参考になるなんてこと言ってましたけど。
Sakura smiles, looking slightly troubled. She might have gotten used to Saber, but she still seems to be getting used to dealing with her.
うん。ともあれご苦労様。けど、あんまり無理するなよ。さくらだって病み上がりなんだ。俺の世話だけでも大変なんだから、掃除まですることないぞ。
そんなことありません。ここで朝を過ごして夕方もご飯を食べさせてもらっているんです。ならお掃除をするのは当然ですよ。私だってこの家の一員なんですから。
Sakura mumbles under her breath, not wanting to sound rude by wishing it was true.
そうだった。俺もさくらも藤姉も家族みたいなもんだった。
先輩。
遠慮して悪かった。家族なら看病ぐらい当然だもんな。俺だってさくらが倒れたらどんなに嫌がられても看病する。だから遠慮なんてする方がバカだったんだ。
I apologize. The conversation stops. After a moment's surprise during which Sakura held her breath.
はい、分かってもらえたのならいいです。先輩はちょっと 人のことを大切にしすぎだと思います。
She smiles happily and straightens out my sheets for me. It made me realize something, finally. How beautiful this house is. The reason we've been tending to the unused rooms without even really thinking about it. How lively and lived in it feels. Just like when my old man was still around. My underclassman at school. My friend's little sister. That's what Sakura was to me when we first met. But she's been protecting this home even more than I have. For the last year and a half, the days were truly peaceful. I took it for granted so much that I never noticed. Sakura brought me and Fujine something that we could never have obtained on our own. Absently, I look up at Sakura. Maybe it's because I still have a slight fever, or because Sakura looks so happy taking care of me. When I see her smile, it warms me up inside and makes me sleepy. Huh, I'm pretty sleepy. It feels nice. I feel bad for sleeping until lunchtime, but for now I think I'll close my eyes and...
けど先輩、私は先輩のそういうところが大好きです。
I think she just said something that would send my heart aflutter.
さくら。
先輩、起きてたんですか？
Sakura backs away from me in a panic. If she reacts like that, it only makes me blush. In fact, I'm worried I'm going to spike another fever.
その、さくら。
何も言ってません。私、何も言ってませんから。顔を覗き込んだのはですね。熱、そう、熱を測ろうって思ったんです。
She hastily takes out the thermometer and looms over me.
先輩、体温計です。熱を測りますから、加えてください。
The thermometer inches threateningly towards me, its holder losing her composure. I feel something squishy. It only brushed me, but it was Sakura's chest. My brain reaches its boiling point. Sanity begins to crack under the strain of forbidden memories springing back to mind, and the sensation of an all-too-real female.
待てさくら、ちょっと弾。
I make a last-ditch effort to roll out of bed. My body slides out of the futon. My first priority is to get away from away from Sakura.
先輩、お熱を測りたいんですけど。
いい、それぐらい自分でやるから、さくらはそこでストップ。
先輩がそういうのでしたらいいですけど。はい、それじゃあ体温計。
ダメ。今はダメ。頼むから落ち着かせてくれ。今近づかれると昨日の夢がぶり返して死んじまう。
Oh boy. Don't say that, Shirou. I make a stop sign gesture, my face beat red. But
昨日の夢ですか？
I must be acting really weird because Sakura suddenly gives me a dubious look.
その、たちの悪い夢を見たんだ。できれば思い出したくないんで、今はそっとしといてくれ。言っとくけど、さくらが悪いわけじゃないぞ。俺が修行不足なだけだ。
はあ、修行不足ですか？
Sakura watches me vacantly. Anyone would after hearing something like that.
先輩、その夢、一体どんな夢だったんですか？
Like hell, I can't answer that.
別にそう大した夢じゃない。ただ、たちが悪かっただけだ。
先輩。
Ooh, Sakura's eyes become concerned. I can't lie to her, but I also can't tell her the truth. So I... Fuck. Play it off. You don't want to fucking tell her the truth. There's a time and place for complete honesty. Just thinking back to that dream was enough to make me blush, and if I described it out loud, I'm pretty sure I'd pass out from the ensuing fever.
先輩、誰が出てきたんですか？
誰って別に誰も出てきてない。ほら、夢なんてのは目が覚めた途端に忘れるものなんだから、いつまでも覚えてないっていうか。
そうなんですか。なら覚えてる範囲でいいですから知りたいです。
She suddenly gets more aggressive, closing in on me after I retreat her from my futon.
だから今近寄るのはダメ。頼むから勘弁してくれ。この話は禁止禁止禁止。
I wave my hands in the air frantically and roll on the ground. Damn it, I really do need to train more. Until now, I've always managed to not be too conscious of her, but thanks to that damn dream, every single move Sakura makes is setting me off.
いいからしばらく一人にさせてくれ。病人の願いは聞くべきなんじゃないか。
I take up position in a corner of the room and entreat Sakura.
わかりました。無理には聞きません。本当は聞きたいですけど、これ以上無理させたら熱が上がっちゃいますから。
Sakura retreats in disappointment.
面目ない。心中させてくれて助かる。
I eagerly return to bed.
それじゃあ先輩、お昼の支度がありますから失礼します。支度が済んだら呼びに来ますから、それまで安静にしててくださいね。
うん、お昼よろしく頼む。
はい。おかしなこと聞いてすみませんでした。お昼はあったかいおうどんにしますね。
She shuts the door with a soft thud. Sakura leaves me with her usual gentle smile and heads off to the living room.
ごちそうさまでした。
ごちそうさまでした。
We mutually thank our cook.
お粗末様でした。先輩もセイバーさんも綺麗に食べてくれましたね。
Sakura starts cleaning up. On the dining table are a clay pot, 3 bowls, and all the garnishes you would need for udon.
あ、片付けは俺がやる。熱も下がったし、それぐらいしないと。
そうですか。それじゃあ体力検査ということでお願いしちゃいますね。洗い物は私がやりますから、先輩は食器運びとテーブル周りの後片付けをやっちゃってください。
Sakura puts on her apron and moves to the kitchen. I'll bring the clay pot and bowls over then.
シロ、体は大丈夫なのですか？熱は下がったと聞きましたが、顔色はまだ悪いではないですか？
ね、何？顔青いのか、
俺。いえ、青いというのではなく悪いのです。マスター、魔術師にとって生命線ともいえる魔力が不足している。昨夜の戦闘ではシローに負担をかけた覚えはありませんが、あの境内そのものに魔力を吸い上げる仕掛けがあったのかもしれません。
Now that she mentions it, Rio Temple did feel off somehow. All the people inside were weakened, so maybe Castor set up a bounded field to drain life energy from humans inside.
まあ、体は元気になったから問題ないさ。魔力だって栄養を取れば戻る。俺の魔力量なんてたかが知れてるんだから、ちゃんと夕飯を食べれば戻るだろう。
当事者であるあなたがそう言うのならこれ以上追求しませんが、まったくさくらの言う通りです。シローはどうも自分のことをないがしろにしている節がある。
Saber stacks the 3 bowls while saying that.
さくらに渡せばいいのですね。そちらの鍋も私が運びますから、シローはテーブルを拭いていてください。
She heads to the kitchen without waiting for my reply.
さくら、食器はここに。
あれ、セイバーさん。はい、洗い物はそこに置いといてください。
なるほど。それとさくら、先ほどの昼食は美味でした。朝に続いて感謝します。
私なんてまだまだです。おかゆとおうどんは先輩の独壇場ですからね。
I hear a cheerful conversation from the kitchen.
なんだ、さくらのやつ、セイバーと仲いいじゃんか。
Maybe they hit it off when they were cleaning up after breakfast. Anyway, it's good to see them get along.
じゃ、食後のお茶の準備でもしてるかな。
I place a small teapot and tea leaves on the table. It's almost 1 o'clock. It's the perfect time for an after-lunch break. I'll go out shopping.
そういえば
I forgot after all the confusion this morning, but I have a promise to keep to Illya. Okay, it wasn't exactly a promise, but I'm the one who asked to see, if I could see her again. So it would be really rude to not wait at the park for her.
セイバーとサクラは
Getting along just fine doing dishes. If I tell them I'm stepping out, they'll either stop me or try to come with me. It's better if I go meet Illya alone. I'm sorry to Saber and Sakura, but I'll just leave a note and sneak out. Somehow I left without them noticing. I did leave a note saying picking up food for dinner back in an hour, so they shouldn't be too surprised. There's nobody at the park. The small park surrounded by apartment buildings feels forlorn, and it's so chilly it feels as if it could get thoroughly coated in snow soon.
ま、イリアがいたところで何話していいかわからないんだけどさ
I sit down on a bench. I set the plastic bag I'm holding on the ground and look up at the overcast sky. Looks like the small souvenir I bought from the shopping district was a waste. I absently gaze up at the clouds. Maybe it's because of all the buildings around. From here, the sky looks boxed off and more distant than usual. My breath mists white. The cold, dry air is freezing, and I wouldn't be surprised if it started snowing.
さて帰るか
I pick up the plastic bag and stand up from the bench. It's after 2 p.m. If I don't get back soon, they'll know I was lying. What the hell? My legs freeze. I can't move them. No matter how hard I try, they just stay in place. What the fuck? The world distorts. No, that's not what's happening. My vision is broken. My eyeballs sink into my skull and I lose any sense of distance from my surroundings. I finally realize that I'm in the worst possible situation. It's like my insides have turned to stone. My nerves are severed and my vision feels cut off from the world. It's like looking at the world through a camera. I've become the protagonist of a video game controlled by a joystick and it makes me feel sick. I'm going to be killed. Was it a mistake to go out on my own? Is this how I go out unable to resist? Not even knowing who did it?
なんてびっくりした
Cool prank, Illya.
シロったら好きだらけなんだもん面白いからちょっとからかっちゃった
The fuck, Illya? So this little prankster has been toying with me?
あ、戻っちゃったさすがに視線だけの接触じゃ弾かれちゃう
She
か
used her mystic eyes. She pops out from behind me. Illya smiles smugly as if she's been here the whole time at the park watching me from behind.
けど自分だけで解除できないんじゃまだまだなんだから外部からの影響がないと自分に戻れないようじゃこの先思いやられるわ
She lectures me haughtily. Of course, the joke goes over my head.
イリアお前いきなり何するんだいくらマスター同士だからって後ろから不意打ちは卑怯だろ
うん不意打ちじゃないよさっきからちゃんと隣にいたもんなのに最後まで気がつかないしおまけにそのまま帰ろうとするし今のはシローの自業自得よ
隣にいたってイリアが
うん隠れてたけどそれにしたってシローは油断しすぎよ私の気配にも気づかないし魔力をぶつけただけの呪縛にとらわれちゃうしマスターなんだからもっと周囲に気を配りなさい
Thanks for the, lesson, Illya. Illya scolds me in exasperation.
ああそれはそうか
It makes her feel like a teacher, and I end up nodding obediently.
うん分か かればよろしい。で、今日はどうしたの？シロ、体の中空っぽだし、その割にはセイバーも連れてないし、休むんなら家で休んだ方が安全でしょ？
いや、別に休むために公園に来たんじゃない。まあセイバーを連れてないのは確かに軽率だけど。
でしょ？あんまり様子が変だから放っておけなかったんだ。私から話しかけていいのは昨日でおしまいだったからダメだったんだけど、今日は特別。
Illya says something strange. After all, I'm only here because...
それで、どうしてこんなところで座ってたの？私がマスターとして来てたら、シロは今頃死んじゃってるよ。
どうしてって、イリアに会いに来ただけなんだけど。昨日、また会ってもいいって言ったじゃないか。
She's surprised. It's not like we promised to meet, so that's to be expected.
なんで？私、シロを殺すんだって言ったのに、シロは私に会いに来たの？
それはイリアの事情だろ。こっちは違う。俺はマスターじゃないイリアと話したいだけだし、何より
Illya had a chance to kill me and she didn't. If she'd let the curse keep going, I probably would have died. But she didn't let that happen, so I don't want to fight her.
ま、昼間戦わないのがマスターなんだろ。なら今はそういうのは抜きにしよう。俺はイリアに会いに来ただけだ。イリアは俺と話すより殺し合いの方が好きなのか？
そんなの言われても困る。私、どっちもいっぱいだもの。シロと話せるのは楽しいけど、やっぱり許してなんてあげないんだから、どっちかを取るなんてできない。
Illya mumbles, looking downcast. Her expression is so sincere, it looks more like she's suffering rather than indecisive.
そっか。ならどっちでもいいよ。どっちかを選べなんて言わない。
けど、私。
ああ。けど、今はせっかく会ったんだから話をしよう。お土産もあるし。戦うのはまた今度な。
I take a paper bag of taiyaki out of the plastic bag. It cooled while I was waiting for Illya, but it's still faintly warm.
ほら、献上品。今回はそれで見逃してくれ。
I push the taiyaki into her hands. Illya hesitates, but still takes the taiyaki without saying anything. She gives me a small nod. I don't really remember what we talked about after that. Foods we like and dislike. She likes birds and dislikes cats. She likes snow but doesn't like the cold. She wants to play but she can't. She doesn't like the nagging maid who keeps an eye on her, but could come to like her. Just silly stuff like that. Illya seems happy just to have someone to talk to. She stuffs her cheeks with the barely warm taiyaki and kicks her feet while sitting on the bench. Brings to mind the image of a daughter waiting for her father to come home.
イリアは一人でこの町に来たんじゃなかったのか？
ええ、セラとリーゼリットと一緒。私にはお目付け役なんていらないけど、身の回りの世話をする人は必要でしょ。
Illya brought her two maids all the way to Japan. I understand that much, but is she having them stay at a hotel with her?
気になる？私がどこに住んでるか。
ああ、そりゃ気になる。イリアは神出鬼没だからな。居場所ぐらい知っておかないと、もしもの時困る。
If Illya ever gets hurt or calls for help, I won't know where to find her. If she could at least tell me an address, then I'd feel a little better about it, but...
いいわ。シロは特別。そんなに知りたいなら教えてあげる。
She agrees. Illya lightly gets up from the bench and puts her hand on my forehead.
イリア。
いいから黙って。あんまり抵抗すると違うものに入っちゃうんだから。そうなったら元に戻すの大変でしょ？
はい。
I reflexively nod at her stern tone.
いい子ね。じゃあ、目を閉じて。 あとあんまりキョロキョロ周りを見ちゃダメよ。いくら映すって言っても他人の視点なんだから、シローがここにいる限り乗り物酔いをしかねないわ。
Illya suddenly presses her forehead against mine. I close my eyes in surprise. Suddenly, my field of view accelerates at extreme speed, then expands. No, it's my consciousness that expands. I find myself looking at a scene I've never seen, peering down from someplace high up.
どう？見える？今、シローの視覚だけを私の森につなげたんだけど。
Ilya's voice echoes. I can't answer or nod. Right now, I'm only my sense of vision. I'm a tree looking out over a vast forest. I can't move my body, because I've just been transformed into a silent tree.
日常は覚えた？それじゃあ、次は城の壁に移すわね。
The image changes. I'm cut off from my body, but my vision still works. I'm still me, but I can't feel myself. After the tree comes a wall. I still feel my arms and legs, but I don't have any limbs to move. I feel like I have a body I can move, but I don't feel free to move.
リーゼリット、イリアスフィール様の姿が見当たりませんが、心当たりはありますか？
This is the first time we've seen the maids, isn't it?
さあ、イリアならどこかにいるでしょう。
リーゼリット、お嬢様の名をそのように語るのはおやめなさい。イリアスフィール様は私たちとは違うお方です。親方様より賜った使命を忘れたのですか？
セラはイリアの教育係。私はヘブンズフィールを
Oh,
イリアに着せる。
name drop.
そうです。物覚えの悪いあなたでもそれだけは覚えているようですね。
忘れてないけど、イリアあれを着せると嫌がるからあまり着せたくない。
それは私も承知しています。ですが時が来れば嫌でも着ていただかなくてはなりません。お嬢様とてすでに覚悟はできているはずです。
セラ、
何ですかリーゼリット？
あなた疲れない？
全く疲れません。
I hear two maids with the same face and outfit talking. As soon as I realized that the caretakers Illya mentioned, I finally returned to my body.
ご苦労様。どう？ちょっとした変身魔術だったでしょ？今の。
I put my hand over my mouth and fight down the nausea. Everything suddenly became more real when the images suddenly became my own again, and it makes me feel sick.
エリア、今のなんだ？
意識の転移よ。シローの視覚だけを他のものに移したの。眼球から脳につながる神経があるでしょ。それをね、眼球からじゃなくて違うものから脳につなげたの。さっきの間だけシローの視界は眼球から得られる情報じゃなくて、私の森の木々から見た情報を見てたってこと。
つまり俺が木になったんじゃなくて、木の視界を俺が受信しちまって、自分自身が木なんだって勘違いしたってことか。
あら、物分かり悪そうで鋭いのね。ええ、今のはそういうこと。人間っていう機材はそのままにして入力先だけを移し替える魔術。人間を木に変えるなんてことは大事だけど、人間の意識だけを木につなげるならまだ魔術の域でしょ。遠見とか憑依はこの魔術の応用ね。
なるほど。けどそれはそれでとんでもないぞ。さっきみたいに木に視覚を移されただけで 俺は何もできなくなった。転移は
ええ、私たちの特性は力の流動、転移だもの。例えば遠坂の魔術師は魔力を宝石に移し替えて、かついつまでも純度を保っていられる。その応用で他人の意識を力技で転移することもできるわ。
So they can do the same thing, huh?
封じ込めたいって思った敵がいた場合、そいつの意識の入力先を宝石の中とか身動きできない人形の中に変えてしまえば、そいつは無力化する。でも他人の意識にかける転移は成功率が低すぎて、転移を得意とする私や遠坂の魔術師でさえ攻撃になんて使わないかな。さっきシローにかけたのは特別。シローは抵抗しなかったし、あの森は私のだもん。本当はもっとつなげにくいものなんだよ。
Yeah, that makes sense. It does seem like a pretty hard to pull off thing. Just transferring senses like that. So it kind of makes sense that all the conditions have to line up pretty perfectly to make it work.
それに意識が転移先に移っている最中に意識の本体に刺激が与えられれば、意
So
識
it's
は
really not even
強制
that
的に
permanent
戻
of
っ
a thing
てしま
anyway.
う。たとえ移された意識が本体の危機を察していなくても、肉体が危険を感じて離れている意識を呼び戻すの。さっきのシローだってそうだよ。シローの意識は木をかぶってる間は自分からは何もできなかったけど、シローの体をゆすっただけで体の方がシローを呼び戻した。
それって要するに夢みたいなもんか。
When I dream, I can't wake up on my own no matter how hard I try. Most of the time, I wake up when morning arrives. In other words, my body's habitual functions wake me up.
ちょっと違うかな。夢からはちゃんと理性で目覚められるし、そんなわけだから転移は攻撃には向いてない。自分にかける自己保身のための魔術なの。
It's kind of like a defensive thing.
自分の意識の転移先を使い魔や身動きできる人形にしてしまえば、その体を動かして
Oh, that too.
安全に魔導の探求を行えるでし
Yeah,
ょ。
let's say you were doing something dangerous. You could transfer your consciousness into a puppet, have the puppet do it, and then if something goes wrong, your body is fine. Yeah, that makes sense.
つまり敵にリモコンロボットである使い魔を倒されたところで、自分の意識は本体に戻るだけってことか。
意識を転移させるなんてことをする魔術師は本体を絶対安全な場所に隠すものよ。
That makes sense.
この場合注意すべきは、使い魔の中でも魂のある使い魔への転移の場合ね。
I guess that makes it harder, like the two souls have to compete for control.
ちゃんとした命令系統、理性を持っている者に意識を転移すると、主導権は完全にあっち側、魂のある使い魔の意識に行ってしまうの。
Okay.
だから人間とか動物に意識の転移をしても、私たちはその脳の端っこで彼が見ている映像を一緒に見ているだけになる。リモコンロボットじゃなく、
So it could be used to look inside a living person or creature's head, but can't be used to control them.
すでに生物として生きている魂のある使い魔に自分の意識を移して支配するのは転移ではなく転生の域の魔術だもの。
Alright.
それはそれで一つの大魔術だから、並大抵の魔術師には真似できないわ。
Reincarnation. Magecraft that lets a child inherit one's soul after death. Apparently some mages have achieved it, but recreating the soul is a challenge of its own. One might manage to start life over as a baby, but if one doesn't inherit 100% of one's abilities from one's past life, that isn't reincarnation, but mere duplication. It's a replica, an inferior copy. The baby would be inferior to the mage it was reborn from.
転移先を生物にこだわるのなら、心、魂のない使い魔を作って、その殻を操るっていう手もあるわ。
If you wanted to transfer into a new body, you might as well just make your own, like, puppet. And then just transfer your consciousness that way.
ただ現代の魔術師の作れる魂のない使い魔って
Yeah.
あんまり強くないの。中身が綿の人形を遠くから魔力で操ってるだけだもの。そんなの術者のメッセンジャーとしてしか使い道がないわ。それにいくら使い魔や身動きできる人形に意識を移しても本体が老いて死ねば転移させた自分の意識も消えてしまう。
Yeah, so it's not really like an immortality thing.
術者が不老不死になれるわけではないわ。
Yeah.
物質界において永劫不滅なのは魂だけよ。けど魂を単体でこの世に留めておくことは誰にもできない。
Unless you're able to transplant your
魂
soul,
は肉体がないとこの世に留まれなくて、
then you
肉
might
体を
be
得
able
た
to
時
be
点
immortal,
で
but
肉体の死を宿命づけられ
transferring
て
your
しまう。
consciousness.
まあアインツベルンや遠坂には今みたいな魔術が限界だったってこと。
The lecture ends. Suddenly, something rings out announcing the time. The clock in the park reads 3 p.m. An entire hour went by before I even knew it.
あ、私そろそろ行かないと。シローも家に帰るの？
あ、そろそろ帰らないとまずいかな。
Illya nods, then walks to the middle of the park.
本当はこんなこと言っちゃダメなんだけど、
She pauses, as if expecting to be rejected.
明日も会いに来てくれる？
The small white-haired girl asks me. That idiot. Do I even need to answer that?
明日も来るよ。今日はイリアの家を教えてもらったから、次は俺の番だしな。
それじゃ約束。明日は絶対私から話しかけるからね。
Illya leaves. The sky is gray. It makes the white-haired girl seem like a fairy.
ただいま。
ど
Yeah,
こ
that's
に
about
行ってい
right.
たのですか、シロ。
どこに行っていたんですか、先輩。
I scramble back in a hurry, running backwards into the door. Oh boy.
上ではありません。一人で外に出るなとあれほど言ったではないですか。それもそのように体調が悪い時に私たちの目を盗んで出かけるとは。
セイバーさんの言う通りです。2時に戻ってくるって書き置きだったのに、今何時だか分かっていますか？先輩、2時間もどこで油を売ってたんです。
あ、いや、待った。わかる。二人が怒っているのはわかる。わかるので少し。
If they can just take a deep breath, I should be able to explain myself. Nope.
分かってなどいません。昨日は学校に向かうというあなたの意見に従いましたが、今回は見逃すわけにはいきません。それほど元気だというのなら結構です。これから夕食までたっぷりと鍛えて差し上げましょう。
Well, it's been nice knowing you, Shirou. Saber brushes Sakura aside and advances on me.
はい、道場の掃除なら済んでいますから
Oh, she's
気兼
agreeing.
ねなく使ってください。セイバーさんの腕前は聞いていますから、先輩もきっとご満足いただけると思います。
Shit, they formed a united front. This is the worst possible thing that could have happened. Sakura brushes Saber aside and lets me have it. I can see now that one wrong word will add oil to the fire. We'll cast pearls before swine and result in nothing less than Saber calling our contract null and void.
シロ、返事は？
先輩、返事は？
反省してる。
Clatter, clatter, clatter. The door to my house spitefully refuses to let me retreat.
それでは早速行きましょうか。さくら、救急箱の用意を。
Oh boy.
はい、どうぞ。存分にお灸を据えてあげてください。
The two of them go off into the hallway in perfect sync.
わあ、今日の夕飯食えるのかな。
That's a great question. Nevertheless, I don't know what worse punishment will await me if I don't go along right now. All I can do now is drag myself to the dojo as ordered for a thorough education. It's been a few hours since I started training. My sparring with Saber can't be likened to kendo. To begin with, Saber isn't trained in kendo, and seems like she has no intention of teaching me swordplay. No, what Saber is literally pounding into me is combat itself. She's getting me used to fighting for my life so that I'll be able to maintain my composure and physical performance in a mortal battle against another master. This was Saber's idea, and I'm extremely grateful for the crash course. I won't be able to improve my swordsmanship enough to matter in 1 or 2 days. Shirou Emiya can only rely on the body he's trained until this day. If I can gain enough experience to respond to a life-or-death situation, that'll be the surest weapon of all. And as you'd expect, the instant I'm distracted by my thoughts, Saber nails me squarely in the chest with a thrust from her shinai.
シロ、射程外に退避したことで気が緩むようでは話になりません。今のように気を緩めるのはこの家にいる時だけにしなければ。
You know what? I will be right back. Just give me a second here. Oh, hold on. My computer's freezing. Please. Okay, it's back. Okay, we're back. Okay, try to allow yourself to relax when you're here at home. Got it.
確かに油断した。
I cough as I get up, rubbing the spot where she stabbed me.
シロは驚くほど鋭い時もあれば呆れるほど隙だらけの時もある。その揺らぎをうまく制御できれば。
Suddenly, Saber looks away.
どうしたセイバー？なんかあったのか？
いえ、縁側で桜が手を振っています。どうやらシロを呼んでいるようですが。
Oh, hold on, I just realized I forgot to do something. There we go.
俺は？
I wonder why. Sakura was trying to stop our training because she couldn't bear to watch me get my butt kicked any longer. When I turned her away, she went back to the living room looking bored.
ちょっと今に行ってくるけど、いいかな、セイバー。
はい。鍛錬を始めて2時間ですから、少し休憩を入れましょう。
助かる。じゃあ、ついでに茶でも入れてくるよ。
先輩。
I hurried to the living room and see Sakura standing in front of the telephone.
そのお電話です。さっきから待っていますから、どうぞ。
Phone call. Sakura steps away from the phone.
電話？こんな時間にか。
Is it Fujinai? I pick up the receiver, expecting her to ask me to bring me something she left at home, or bring her something she left at home.
どれ？はい、お電話変わりました。エミヤですが。エミ
ヤですがじゃない。
Hey, Rin. What?
あんた、何無断で学校休んでんのよ。
The speaker roars in my ear. Actually, there must be some crazy magecraft at work to make such a small speaker fill the room with her shouting. My ears ring and my head throbs.
ちょっと聞いてる？エミヤ君、本当に無事なんでしょうね。
聞いてるから、もうちょっと声を小さくしてくれ。
Jesus, Rin.
あと1回つついたら鼓膜が破れる。
相変わらずっていうかずれてるっていうか、とにかくその様子じゃ何もなかったみたいね。はあ、心配して損したわ。
そりゃご苦労様だったな。で、要件はなんだよ。いきなり電話してきて、なんかあったのか？
なんかあったのはそっちでしょ。あんた、昨日あれだけ忠告したのに竜道寺に行ったでしょ。
Yup.
なんでそんなことを知ってんだよ。
見張り役を置いといたからよ。
Oh,
まあ
Archer.
その様子じゃ何もなかったみたいね。学校にいなかったから、ちょっと良くない想像したっていうか。
はあ、つまり俺がやられちまったと？
そうよ。ズタズタにされて裏山に埋められたの。 のかと思った。
That's a lot worse than a little mishap.
おあいにくさま。こっちはピンシャンじゃなくて、今にも死にそうだが、なんとかやってる。で、要件はなんだよ、遠坂。
だからそれは。
腹の探り合いはいいって。あ、要件って竜道寺のマスターのことだろう。それなら倒した。いや、もういなかった。竜道寺のマスターは自分のサーバントキャスターに裏切られてたんだ。で、その後は
I shouldn't say anymore. I've been speaking in a low voice, but Sakura is still behind me. I shouldn't mention anything shocking like people dying.
とにかく竜道寺にはもうマスターもサーバントもいない。聞きたいことってそれだろ。
そうよ、分かってるじゃない。
じゃ、切るぞ。今特訓中でな。とにかく体中が痛い。
I ended with a later and moved to replace the receiver.
ちょっと待った。
なんだよ。もう用はないだろ。
あるわよ。いいから明日は学校に来なさいよね。大事な話があるんだから。
The caller violently hangs up. That's so Tosaka.
まったく。昨日は言ったら怒ったくせに、今日は恋だなんて勝手なやつだ。
I return the phone receiver to its base. I turn around to go back to the living room and finish making tea. But Sakura is in my way.
さくら、どうした？気分悪いのか？
いや、熱なんてありません。ただ、先輩、すごく嬉しそうだったから、どうしたのかなって。
Me happy? She's saying I was happy that Tosaka called me?
まさか、俺怒ってるんだけど。
だからです。先輩、自分で気づいてない。
Sakura awkwardly avoids meeting my eyes. I'm still confused, but I take the chance to finish making tea for 3. By the time training is over, everything outside is suffused in dark red light.
先輩、ブリの下ごしらえ終わりました。あとはかぼちゃとトマトですね。
なあ、そっちは片付けた。これからソースの味付けで、終わったら焼きに入る。あと、今日は茶碗蒸しも作るから、大鉢出してくれ。なんか、昨日藤姉が奮発してカニ買ってきてくれたんだ、これが。
カニ風味かまぼこ五目ですね。あれ、美味しくて綺麗だから大好きです。
With a huff of exertion, Sakura sets the bowls down on the kitchen counter. I put my heart into making dinner as thanks for everyone's help during breakfast and lunch. I prefer it if Sakura relaxed in the living room like Saber, but she's stubborn about helping me as she always does. In the middle of dinner hustle, the doorbell rings. Sakura's here next to me, so it must be a visitor.
私が行ってきます。新聞の勧誘ならお断りしますね。
さくら。
Sakura goes to the house entrance before I can stop her. Something's making me anxious. I put down the daikon I've been peeling and go to check on the front door. Whoever it is keeps ringing the doorbell. I'm willing to bet it's Rim. The non-stop ding-donging sounds almost manic. Sakura lets the visitor know she's coming and unlocks the door. An instant later... Ooh, way worse. Uh-oh. Hey, Shinji. I hear a smooth, melodramatic voice. It clashes with the rude way its owner shoves his way into the house. Oh no. It all happened in a second. The doorbell rang non-stop. Sakura unlocked the door. Shinji wrenched the door open and stepped inside. Without missing a beat, Shinji grabs Sakura's arm. and drags her toward the door, ignoring her dismay. I run. By the time I get there, Shinji's already 1 foot out the door.
何のつもりだ、シンジ。
やあ、エミヤ。妹を連れて帰るために兄貴が迎えに来たんだが、どこかおかしいかい？
連れて帰るだって。
おいおい、このうちじゃ妹の迎えに兄貴が来たらおかしいって言うのか？だいたいさ、人の妹をそそのかしてるのはお前じゃないか、エミヤ。まさかそれで僕の弱みを握ろうなんて考えているんじゃないだろうね。
I don't know what to say. Did Shinji just...
あ、それとも何かい？いざとなったら大事な妹を盾にして影にこそこそ隠れようってのかい？そりゃまた随分と卑怯な真似をするな、エミ
Okay,
ヤは。
first off, you're one to talk about cowardly. He actually went there.
ああ？何その顔。お前バカじゃねえの？
シンジ。
いいじゃん今の声。いいぜ。この前の続きをやってやるよ、エミヤ。
My hands ball into fists. I can't keep my cool. Oh, I mean, is this really even a fucking choice? Punch Shinji! I can't take this, nor should I. My hands ball into fists. Shinji smirks as if laughing at my anger and tenses.
やめて、兄さん。お願いだから、ここでだけはやめてください。
Sakura's sobbing voice brings me back to my senses.
さくら。
驚いたな。お前が僕にそんな口聞くの、もしかして初めてじゃないか？
Shinji's voice is filled with an amusement I've never heard from him before. Sakura stares at the ground, slightly trembling.
で、さくらはどうしたい？ここに残るか、魔刀家に帰るか。僕は優しい。
言うことを聞くから、先輩の前でだけはやめてください。帰れって言うのなら帰りますから。
僕の言うことを聞くんだな、さくら。
Sakura nods wordlessly.
そうか。そこまで言われちゃさくらを連れ戻すのはやめと。僕は寛大な兄貴だからね。妹のやりたいことはさせてやらなきゃな。そうだろ、エミヤ。
シンジ。
そんな怖い顔で見るなよ。さっきのはただの冗談。場の雰囲気に合わせたジョークじゃんか。
Go fuck
いつまでも
yourself.
根に持ってると陰湿なやつだと思われるぜ。
Can we just punch him anyway? Shinji returns to the door.
じゃあな、さくらをよろしく頼むよ、エミヤ。けどさくら、気が向いたらいつでも帰ってきていいんだぞ。
He leaves with a wave. Shinji departs the Emiya house without Sakura. I resume making dinner. I don't know what to talk about, so I just cut tomatoes and pumpkin. The only sound in the kitchen is the chop-chop of the knife on the cutting board. This is awkward.
先輩、ご飯炊けましたよ。内村先生はまだですけど、そろそろご飯にしちゃいます？
She bounced back quick.
ああ、そうだな。ちょっと早いけど、そうしようか。
はい。それじゃあ早速準備しますね。
Sakura moves briskly, helping me as if the earlier confrontation never happened. But it's obvious she's forcing herself to act that way. Sakura's acting calm because she doesn't want me to worry. If that's Sakura's choice, then I can only play along. She's the one who's most trouble right now. Even if it's a forced smile, I should still give her a smile of my own. Huh?
Sakura?
I hear the sound of a bowl dropping in turn. A shattered rice bowl is at Sakura's feet. She suddenly collapses. The The strength goes out of her legs and she falls to her knees, then backwards.
Sakura!
I rush over and support her. It's bad. I can feel Sakura's fever even through her uniform.
Sakura! Oi, しっかりしろ, Sakura!
私どうしたんですか?
Her voice is listless. Even though she's on the verge of passing out, I can tell that she's doing her best to form words.
どうしたじゃない? Sakura, まだ風邪治ってないじゃないか。
いえ、けどこれぐらい大丈夫ですよ。
バカ、大丈夫なやつがいきなり倒れるか。
Damn it, I'm such a fool. How could I have let Sakura work hard all day when I knew she's still sick? Throw in what happened earlier on top of that, and it's no surprise she'd faint from the mental and physical stress.
それより先輩、お茶碗割っちゃってごめんなさい。すぐに片付けます。
I scoop Sakura up in my arms.
先輩。
夕食は後だ。今すぐベッドに放り込んで寝かしつける。文句があるなら治ってからにしろ。
I walk to the guest house carrying Sakura in my arms. I ignore anything she tries to say along the way. To be honest, I'm in such an intense mood that her words barely register anyway. After a while, Sakura takes the hint and stops protesting by the time we get to the guest room. She looks somber and does what I ask. The fever appears to have worsened, though the rest of her body doesn't feel any warmer. What the hell? Oh, goddammit. Just realized what I forgot to do. I forgot to put fucking streamer mode back on here. People are pinging me in Discord. Son of a bitch. Why did I do that? Is there any way for me to do this? Who the fuck is messaging me? No, fuck it. I'm leaving it. I'm leaving it. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. I'm a fucking idiot. Alright, we can bear with it for a little while. I leave the guest room. Time to change the dinner menu. I need to hurry and make okayu and something to accompany it. I'm all flustered now, son of a bitch. It's almost 10 p.m. Dinner is over and it's time to get ready to go out on patrol. Sakura is sleeping in her bedroom. I ate dinner with Saber. Fujine didn't come over. Maybe she's busy.
シロ、そろそろ時間ですが。
Saber wants to head out. Tonight we'll... No, I'm worried for Sakura. I can't leave Sakura alone tonight. My presence alone won't make her any better, but I want to be able to help right away in case she needs it.
すまん、セイバー。今夜の巡回はなしにする。今はさくらが心配だ。
わかりました。マスターの指示に従います。
That's a surprise. I was sure Saber would be against it, but she simply accepted what I said without protest.
勘違いはしないように。体調が優れないのはさくらだけではありません。シロウも同様に疲労しているから今夜は休息するのです。あなたの魔力は未だ満たされていない。さくら同様、今夜は無理をせず休むことです。
ありがとう、セイバー。
礼は不要です。私はシロウのサーバント。主の体を第一に考えるのは当然です。
With that, Saber sits down in the living room and pours herself a cup of warm water.
で、シロウ、理解ある家臣に与える褒美とか、そういったものはないのですか?
You want more food? Saber asks me a question, her tone adorably mixed with petulance and anticipation.
そっか。待ってろ、セイバー。
I divine her desire for a midnight snack and assemble a tray of tea and cookies that Fujine brought just for her, grinning wryly all the while. Glad she's happy with it. My magic circuit closes. Once the red-hot rod leaves my spine, I sigh in relief. My daily routine, which I've been neglecting lately, goes off without a hitch, to my surprise. Maybe it's thanks to my contract with Saber. I've always had a hard time forming my magic circuit, but it's easy now.
けど作るのに1分かかってるようじゃ使い物にならない。
All I can do is strengthen something into a weapon. If I'm taken by surprise, I'd still be in desperate straits with no way to defend myself. If I could at least shorten it by half to about 30 seconds.
今度遠坂に相談してみるかな。あいつなら効率のいい魔術回路の作り方を知ってそうだ。
I don't know what she'll want in return, though, so I can't just ask her on a moment's notice. I hear footsteps on dirt. They're slow and unhurried. It's midnight. The person who comes to the shed, letting the moonlight guide her path, is...
先輩まだ起きてますか？
Sakura. The color of her face looks a little better. But my mind goes blank. Sakura's wearing something I haven't seen before. I take incomprehensible damage. They're clothes that Fujine gave her, but seeing Sakura out of her school uniform sends my head spinning.
先輩
ああ起きてる。さくらの方はいいのか。外寒かっただろ。
熱はほとんど下がりました。気分転換に外に出たらこっちで物音がしたから先輩かなって。
そっか。じゃああとはあったかくしてちゃんと寝るだけだな。うんよかったよかった。
I light the stove I just fixed. Good, it turns on. It'll warm us up a little.
ほらここも冷えるけど外よりマシだ。その寝てばっかりで目が冴えてるんなら話し相手になるぞ。
それじゃあお邪魔しますね先輩。
Sakura makes her way towards me with short steps. I'm glad. She really does look like she's feeling better.
あったかい。ちゃんと治ったんですねこれ。
なんとかな。直し始めの頃はあんまりにもオンボロなんでさすがに無理だって差し投げてたけど。
そうですね。あんなの直すぐらいなら藤姉が真っ二つにしたビデオデッキを直すぞって怒ってましたもん先輩。けど結局捨てられずに持ち帰ったんですよね。
いやそれはその往生際が悪いのはこいつだけじゃなかったというか。
The stove was broken, but once I saw that it could be fixed, I just couldn't leave it alone.
先輩一度いたら聞かないから。物分かりがいいようですっごく頑固なんですよ。気づいてました？
頑固かな俺。
頑固ですよ。それにすっごく強引なんです。さっきだって私の話を全然聞いてくれませんでしたから。
Well then. Sakura's in an oddly good mood, even though she's scolding me. Not that I'm unhappy to see her in good spirits again.
悪い。さっきはカッとして考えが回らなかった。
そうですね先輩。私と自分に怒ってて怖い顔してました。先輩には迷惑をかけてばかりですけど、さっきのは本当に悪いことをしたんだなって反省したんですよ。
Sakura's so gentle. She's still getting over her illness, but how do I put it? It isn't the usual that Sakura that's trying to do her best in front of me. It's like I'm seeing the real Sakura.
それで少し子供の頃を思い出しちゃいました。私子供の頃は家にこもってばかりで言いたいことも言えなかった。私が本当の気持ちを言わなければみんなうまくいくって思い込んでずっと黙ってたんです。けどそれじゃダメですよね。私は 心配かけたくなくて黙っていたけど、それがもっとお父さんや兄さんを心配させてたんです。
そっか。けどさくらが親父さんや信者を大切に思ってたのは本当なんだから、さくらの気持ちだってちゃんと伝わってたんじゃないか。
そうですね。そうだといいです。それで先輩はどうだったんですか？私、先輩が子供の頃の話あんまり聞いたことないんです。
俺？別に今と変わらないんじゃないかな。昼間は街中走り回って親父の飯を作って、夜はここでガラクタいじってた。
Feeling bashful, I scratched my cheek. It's a little embarrassing as a man to admit that my life hasn't changed since childhood.
うわぁ、街中を走り回ってたんですか？
そのパトロールの真似事。弱きを助け強きをくじくってのに憧れてたんだ。
My main battlefield was the park. I recall spending a lot of time there with the other kids my age, picking fights with slightly older kids. I vaguely recall one of the kids who was really clever for their age, whom I saw as a devilish nemesis.
なるほど。いじめっ子から街を守ってたんですね。先輩、昔からそういう人だったんだ。
さくら、笑顔で言われるとさすがに我が身を振り返っちまうからやめてくれ。割と恥ずかしい。
恥ずかしくなんかないです。私、子供の頃に先輩と会ってたらきっと子分にしてもらってました。私みたいな引っ込み思案には手を取って外に連れ出してくれる人がいないとダメなんです。
子分ってさくらな。
Actually, I bet Sakura would have trained with me daily if we'd known each other as kids. I can definitely imagine my younger self shouting motivational phrases at her as we ran along the riverbed or meditated in the dojo. Anyone watching us would have seen us as a boss and a minion. Then Sakura would have grown up big and strong under my guidance. Like this. Or a devil in girl's clothing like this. I feel a sudden chill. Thank goodness she turned out so modest and graceful. The fucking angry rim.
先輩、
まあちょっと頭が飛んでた。独り言なんで気にしないでくれ。
はい、それはいいんですけど、聞きにくいことを聞いてしまっていいですか？
いいけど、なんだよ。
藤村先生から聞いたんですけど、先輩、エミヤの家に引き取られた養子だって本当ですか？
あれ、言ってなかったっけ？藤姉の言う通り親父の養子だぞ俺。
先輩、それって。
いや、別に隠し事じゃないしその通りだし。さくらこそどうしたんだよ、そんなこと聞いて。
先輩は気にしてないんですか？知らない家にもらわれていっぱい嫌なこととかあったんじゃないんですか？
そりゃ藤姉の入れ知恵だな。まあ初めの1年はそう見えたかもしんないけど、あれはあれで辛くはなかったし嫌なことなんてなかったと思う。
じゃあ楽しかったんですか？先輩は。
This is the first time anyone's ever asked me that. After the fire, my first year with Kiritsugu was a difficult one. Spent mostly recovering from my injuries. After that, I've just been on the move day after day like I still am now. I followed Kiritsugu's footsteps to learn magecraft. Found meaning in helping as many people as I could and spent my days roaming the town. Can I truly say I enjoyed it? I've never had the luxury of considering that question.
どうだろう。楽しかったかどうかはわからない。ただ俺は親父みたいになりたかった。
それは藤村先生が言っていたような 正義の味方にですか？
Sakura timidly asks. And I answer.
おかしいかな。
I feel bashful about it, but I say how I really feel.
いいえ、先輩は間違ってません。まっすぐでかっこいいです。
Her words are calm. Normally they'd make me so embarrassed that I couldn't look her in the eye. But the sentiment goes straight to my heart, and I feel like thanking her.
じゃあもう一つ聞きますね、先輩。もし私が悪い人になったら許せませんか？
え？
I'm taken aback by the sudden question. But if I consider it seriously,
ああ、さくらが悪いことをしたら怒る。きっと他のやつより何倍も怒ると思う。
I'd probably push everything else from my mind and scold Sakura in that case.
よかった。先輩にならいいです。
Sakura nods in apparent relief. Seeing her smile, I feel like this has happened before.
部屋に戻りますね。おやすみなさい、先輩。
Sakura returns to her bedroom. I watch her leave and get the odd feeling that I'm forgetting something. I go back to my bedroom. I slip into bed quietly to avoid waking Saber and close my eyes.
思い出した。
Finally, I realize what's been nagging at my mind. That's right, it was in the shed back then, too. 2 years ago. No, a year and a half to be exact. It was 2 summers ago. Sakura had come over several times asking to help out around the house, and I turned her down each time. But she wouldn't back down. She showed up here every day, showing more stubbornness than I'd known she had. Eventually, I gave in. Her tenacity impressed me, and one day I called her over to the shed to declare my surrender.
さくらには負けた。負けたからこれやる。
It was an old key. Kiritsugu used to use it, and it had been put away in the shed for years. I handed it over to Sakura. Sakura was shocked and vehemently refused it, saying she didn't deserve to have it. If memory serves, she insisted that she was too much of a stranger to hold on to even a duplicate of the key.
あのな、毎日手伝いに来るくせに他人も何もあるか。これからは好きにうちを使ってくれ。その方が俺も助かる。
I didn't take no for an answer and pushed it into her hands. That's when I saw it.
はい、ありがとうございます、先輩。大切な人から物をもらったのはこれで2度目です。
Sakura nodded, looking elated.
ああ、そうか。
That's what I was struggling to remember. Sakura always tries her best, and her smile is always kind and gentle. But I haven't seen her look this content since that summer day. Oh, interlude. Ryudo Temple. Now a barren place since Castor's demise. The monks who collapsed due to an unknown illness all left the mountain, leaving the temple completely uninhabited. The gates are tightly shut to even the residents of the temple, to say nothing of visitors.
ひどい匂いだ。鼻が曲がるどころの話じゃねえな。
Is that Lancer? A voice echoes in the empty temple grounds. His lithe blue form is illuminated by the moonlight. Yeah, Lancer. The muscular body without a gram of excess, and the long scarlet weapon belong to the servant called Lancer.
おうおう、キャスターがくたばったってのに結界は健在か。いや、醜悪さは以前より5割増し。これに比べればキャスターは上品だったな。
Lancer casually peers out over the temple grounds. He grips his crimson spear. Intelligence gathering and observation are his primary tasks. He isn't happy about it, but orders are orders. It's his policy to follow his lord's commands and deliver the results asked of him. Accordingly, he's skirmished with several servants so far and disengaged each time. Lancer hasn't fought any battles on his own initiative, per his contract with his master. Tonight's scouting mission to Ryudo Temple is no exception, so he shouldn't need his spear. He can conjure his noble phantasm anytime he wishes. One would think it unnecessary to be armed when there is no enemy to fight.
キーうるせえこと。キャスターは風使いと呼んでたんだが、水気の女だったのかね。
More bugs.
雲だのカエルだの、陰湿な輩が多いが。
He walks through the temple grounds. His manner appears utterly defenseless and unbecoming of a servant. So unguarded is he that on the off chance another servant is lurking nearby, he would surely perish in an ambush.
ああ、頭をすげ替えられたって線もあるな。ここは腐った小虫しかいない。持ち主不在の廃屋に救うのはお前たちの常套手段だ。
Lancer's foul mood doesn't lift. The blue-clad spearman admonishes someone who isn't present.
にしても一匹でかいのがいるな。どこの生まれか知らないが、山奥で獣と暮らしていた面してやがる。おまけになんだこりゃ、砂の匂いか。へっ、大雲かと思えば小汚い砂虫とはな。やだ。なんだってこんなしけた野郎の偵察なんかしなきゃならねえのかなった。
He bats aside a silver flash of light. With a single flourish of his spear, Lancer deflects 3 deadly darts from the darkness. The wicked daggers plunge into the ground. They are dirks, short knives made not for slicing, but skewering their unlucky target. Each was hurled with unerring accuracy at Lancer's 2 eyes and windpipe, respectively.
いい腕だ。が、二度とはするなよ、砂虫。挨拶もなしで命を取られるのは趣味じゃねえし、何よりお前にとっちゃ命取りだ。
The muscled blue form faces the darkness. Something faintly shifts in the gloom of the shrine. A skull laughs, its bony facade as white as the moon. The battle commences without preamble. The white skull shrieks in no human tongue as it attacks Lancer, who meets its ambush without so much as twitching an eyebrow. The skull's thrown dirks are on par with archers' arrows. 30 in total are loosed from the darkness at very close range, and Lancer parries every single one effortlessly. The skull halts. That's strange. No matter how capable a spearman Lancer is, he surely can't have blocked every single one of the skull's daggers, each aimed precisely enough to thread a needle. Moreover, his opponent wields a pole-arm. The dirks were aimed at the spear's blind angles and should have struck his opponent's vital points, so how could Lancer have deflected every last one?
おい、まさかとは思うが、お前の芸はそれだけか。
Lancer's demeanor changes. He stops, and his merely curious hostility shifts to a demented intent to kill the skull.
ならこれでしまいだ。お前が何者か知らんが、まあ、その仮面ぐらいは剥がすとするか。
More daggers surge out of the darkness. Just as Lancer is about to advance on the skull, he's intercepted by a frenzied barrage. And that too is thwarted. With only a subtle movement of his spear, Lancer nullifies attacks he shouldn't even be able to see. The skull mask trembles. It doesn't speak, but it gulps down its next shriek, staring in disbelief at the enemy coming for its head. It aims another dagger for Lancer's throat between a gap in his spear's movements. The skull mask trembles. As Lancer's spear deflects the daggers, it spins in a neat circle in Lancer's hands, arching up into attacking the enemy's skull, arching up into the attacking skull's jaw. Defense and riposte. Both maneuvers were executed perfectly simultaneously. The skull has no way of defending itself in mid-flight. The white mask falls. Lancer doesn't press the attack. His orders are to merely observe the enemy. Even if this is a golden opportunity to execute his opponent, he lacks the authority to make that decision.
バカ 言っただろう。俺に飛び道具はうまくないと。忠告を聞かなかったのはそっちの方だぜ。
Oh, is that his protection from arrows? Lancer reorients his spear towards his enemy, which is hiding its face and calmly watches. A dark body. A right arm contained in bandages. Yeah, that is 100% who I knew it was. Its face, once concealed by a white skull mask, is now shrouded in darkness and difficult to make out clearly. No. It would be closer to call it featureless, lacking obvious protrusions or depressions.
私の面を見たな、ランサー。
そりゃこれからだ。サーバントには違いないようだしな。どこの英雄かはっきりさせるとするか。
なるほど。余分な縛りがあったのか。道理で殺さないわけだ。
The servant retreats, cloaked in shadow. A dirk is clutched in his hand, its lethal intent towards Lancer undiminished.
やめとけ。生まれつきでな。目に見えている相手からの飛び道具なんざ通じねえんだよ。よっぽどのものじゃない限り、その距離からの投擲は効かねえぞ。
そうか。流れ屋の加護か。
So yeah, it was protection from arrows. I think that was, what, the one skill of his that didn't come up yet? Because the only other one listed in his profile was Divinity, which, you know, isn't like a triggerable skill. It's just something he has. Shadows sway. The dark servant crouches down low like a spider, then suddenly flings another dagger while leaping high into the air. If its high leap can be compared to that of a deer, then one might compare its frantic scurry to that of a spider, snake, or scorpion. The servant flees hiding its face. Speed of its flight is on par with Lancer. But Lancer's explosive bursts of agility are without peer. It would be unthinkable for him to need more than a moment to close in on his prey.
確かに喉を狙ったんだが、しぶといんだ。治ってるってわけじゃねえし、あれぶっ飛んでやがるな。
Lancer gives chase, his enemy skating on the wet surface like a water strider. His pursuit churns and splits the water in contrast with his target's elegant escape. But the water strider has no hope of outrunning him.
痛みで止まらねえんなら、付け根でも切りつければよかったが。他の連中には通じねえ手だからな。つい後回しにしちまったが。
For a human, the severing of one's limbs or major arteries is a critical injury. A laceration to the aorta, for instance, would cause catastrophic blood loss, leading to certain death in combat. But this logic only applies to a conventional battle between mortals. It is unrealistic to expect a servant, a mighty heroic spirit, to die of exsanguination. They are powered not by blood, but magical energy. Injuring a major blood vessel would only amount to a less effective secondary means of harm. It would be a different story if one were to cripple all four limbs, but no servant is so easily immobilized. Any time wasted on less lethal, immobilizing wounds could expose the attacker to a lethal riposte.
なるほど。だが通覚を殺す手に頼るような英霊に治癒能力などあるまい。次の打ち込みで蹴りをつけるか。
Lancer crosses the body of water in a geysering gust. In 2 seconds, his prey will be in hand. In a flash, he moves to cleave the fleeing water strider from the left hip. Lancer immediately leaps in retreat. Oh, that thing. The water's surface jumps. No, something in it bears its fangs. Dark, thin tendrils chase Lancer into the air. It's as if the water itself attacks him. The spectacle brings to mind ancient horrors lurking in the ocean depths. Lancer has nowhere to run. He strikes the water with his spear and uses every rune he possesses to inscribe a bounded field into the lake bed, but it is easily consumed by his pursuer. Dark tentacles surround him, eating up his safe haven second by second. Activated fully in concert, his runes are powerful enough to defend against a greater noble phantasm, but they barely even manage to slow the thing down. Assassin cackles.
どうしたランサー。動かねば飲まれるぞ。
The water strider floats on the water, reveling in the sight. But it too is no exception from the tentacle's hunger. It doesn't dare approach the blackened water for fear of being consumed. It knows that the dark tentacles will instantly shift its attention to any new prey.
だがそうはいかん。お前を仕留めるのは私だ。未だ経験が足りないのでな。お前を打倒し、足りない知能を補わねば。
Light glints off the strider's dagger. It throws its dagger at the immobilized Lancer. Still, it is futile. Even while fully engaged with his bizarre foe, Lancer is immune to the projectile attack.
懲りないやつだ。まあ、強気になるのはわかるんだが。
Lancer observes the tentacles surrounding him. Assassin has lured him a considerable distance from shore. It's 30 meters to the nearest bank. He can easily cross that piddling distance in a single bound.
そこで動かなかったお前の負けだ。様子見も済んだ。ここらで引き上げさせてもらおうか。
Lancer's body sinks, his spear warping. He takes a great leap into the air with the aid of his spear. But then... an utterly simple, straightforward attack is unleashed. A false heart emerges from Lancer's chest. Oh, he used his noble phantasm. From an impossible distance, still bobbing on the lake surface, Assassin gouges out the spearman's chest. It is one of the purest forms of magecraft, the most simplified of curses. A cursed arm specialized in cursing humans, passed down through Middle Eastern magecraft. Assassin's noble phantasm, Zabaniya, delusional heartbeat. It destroys Lancer's heart without fail. The spearman's lifeless body sinks into the dark water. The water dances. It writhes in stimulation, restless, brutal, vulgar. The sight of a caged and starved beast thrown fresh meat would pale before this savagery. Countless dark tentacle-like appendages consume the man-shaped heroic spirit. Floating on the black lake, this faceless servant drinks something red in delight. Poor Lancer having to go out like that. Well, another servant down. Not by our hands, though. Alright. I will call it an episode here, then, in the next one. Well, now that Lancer's out of the picture, who's left? Saber, Archer, Assassin, Berserker? 4. Well, I mean, if we're including Gilgamesh, it's 5. Yeah, no, 4 servants left now. They are dropping like flies. Goddamn. Alright, so, I will see you all in the next episode then. Alright, bye.